So we are reading from 4th chapter. What is the name of the chapter? What's the name of the chapter?
Transcendental knowledge.
Transcendental knowledge or Gyan Yoga. And we are at a part where we discussed Bhagavad Gita's history and how to understand and whom to understand Bhagavad Gita from, why to understand Bhagavad Gita, and what makes Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we had answered one question, two questions actually. What is the difference between Krishna's body and the body of a conditioned living entity? And why does Krishna appear? We are at that crux. So we studied till 4.8, 4.7, right? 4.7. We start from 4.8 today. Is that right? I don't know if I'm audible.
Yes,
I'll
Mataji.
if I'm audible and I'll go ahead. Thank you.
Yes.
So why does Krishna appeared? Paritranaaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansarpanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So there is an external reason and an internal reason. Let's read the translation. To deliver the pious, paritranaaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam, to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So the question can be raised that to annihilate the miscreants, why Krishna needs to come? You know, Krishna can tell in his servant like Indra or Yamraj or anybody, you know, he can just say that go and punish this particular living entity. What makes him to come? So the acharyas explain that there are external reason and internal reason for Krishna's appearance. The external reason is what's here to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants and to reestablish the principles of religion. But then there is an internal reason which only Krishna can fulfill. All these reasons Krishna's devotees can fulfill. To deliver the pious, Krishna's expansion can deliver the pious. To annihilate the miscreants, Krishna's servant can annihilate the miscreants. To establish re-establish the principles of religion, all the acharyas from all paramparas can act as in a way instrument in service to Krishna to reestablish the principle of religion. So what is the internal reason for appearance of Krishna? What's the internal reason? What is explained? Quickly, we have so many verses to do today. What's the internal reason? What do you think? Anvaya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. It's because he wants to give joy to his devotees.
Yeah, thank you. So because the real reason is because his devotees are asking him to come. Because he wants to have pastimes with his devotees. Okay. Because Mother Yashoda, because Mother Devaki wanted a son like him, right? So there's no one like Krishna, so Krishna had to become her son. Because the devotees in Vrindavan wanted to have pastime with Krishna. Okay, so there's always this, actually, don't forget this application anywhere, that there is always an internal reason and an external reason. We, in material energy, we are swept away only by the external reason or external behaviors of a Vaishnava. But then in spiritual energy, we understand that where is this coming from? What's the internal reason? What is the benefit of knowing Krishna's appearance and disappearance? So Prabhupada was once asked that what is the golden verse of Bhagavad Gita? One verse of Bhagavad Gita which is golden explains the crux of everything. Which verse is that? You know, once I was giving these 18-day classes and one person asked me, Mataji, tell me one chapter which I can read. And I don't have to read any other 17 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. There's one chapter. What chapter is that? I said, I have no idea, but I can tell you what one verse you have to read. It will tell you the crux of Bhagavad Gita. So what is that one verse?
4.9.
Yes, thank you for being logical. Why will I ask this question at this particular verse? Because this is the verse. Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tatpataha takta deham punarjanma neti mameti. So Arjuna. So one who, no, this is the golden verse. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities. does not upon leaving the body take his birth again in this material world, but attains to my eternal abode, O Arjun. Okay. So if one can understand, this is the benefit of knowing Krishna. You see, knowing somebody about somebody's birth is usually not a very exciting story. How many people you meet, or let's say you go to see a newborn baby of your friend or relative. How much are you interested in knowing the birth? How many hours the mother was in labor? Was the labor complicated by anything? What medications were given? What was the mother's heart rate? What was the fetal heart rate tracing? How many of you are really, 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 really did the child cry immediately? You know, how many did the child get the vaccine or not? How many of you are interested in knowing all that? Huh? Nobody can promise. Yeah, are you interested? Anybody? You go next time visit a friend's baby, or if you have a baby and people come to visit you, ask, see what question they're asking. Because it's not so interesting. But Krishna is not like that. Krishna wants us to know how he appears. And it's for our benefit. It's not that Krishna is getting benefited. For our benefit, one who knows transcendental nature of my appearance and activities. Interestingly, here Janma is not translated as birth. It's translated as appear. Okay, generally we take Janma as birth. But here Prabhupada translates the word Janma as appearance. My appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again. Takta deham punar janma. You see over here, this word is repeated twice, janma. There Prabhupada translates as birth. So if this word is used in context with Krishna, it is meant as appearance. If this word is used in context with anybody else, it is used as birth. Okay, you can hear it. My appearance, and then does not take his birth. Okay, this is interesting. It's very fascinating, right? How Prabhupada is decoding that Krishna is not taking birth like an ordinary person, and we are not interested in knowing the birth of an ordinary person also. But Krishna is appearing, and that is very transcendental. Divyam is transcendental, and we have to become interested to know how Krishna appears, when Krishna appears, why Krishna appears, what are things he does when he appears. Why? Because tyakta deham, when I leave this body, then I will not take birth again. See, that's the whole benefit of knowing. It's a very big thing. The whole benefit of knowing Krishna's appearance and activities is I'll get free from all this. But that doesn't happen with other knowledge that we gain in this world, um, which is actually one of the four kinds of kleshas, right? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. It's four kind of kleshas. You understand klesha, like miseries? So one of the four big miseries. Now, who can understand Krishna's nature, Krishna's birth, why Krishna appears, when Krishna appears, what Krishna does when he appears, what is the difference between Krishna's body and our body? Who can understand? What's the eligibility criteria? This is very deep verse, actually. And Krishna talks about Raga, Bhaya, Krodha twice in Bhagavad Gita. There are only few things which are repeated in Bhagavad Gita. This is one of them. Vitaraga, Bhaya, Krodha, Manmaya, Umam, Upashitaha, Bahavo, Jnana, Tapasa, Puta, Madbhava, Magataha. Vita means freed. Freed from what? Raga. Raga means attachment. Bhaya means fear. Krodha means anger. So being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attain transcendental love for me. So if somebody has to become Krishna conscious fully, then one needs to get freed from these things, raga, bhaya, krodha, which Prabhupada explains in the purport, which I requested. We will see different degrees of affliction. Raga means strong attachment to material life. Okay, somebody is very happily situated in their material life, and they have all their objects of sense gratification. So the desire to become spiritually inclined doesn't arise because they don't see a need. No, I'm happy. So people go to spirituality according to them to become happy. So I'm already happy. Why do I have to go? Like strong attachment to material life leads to negligence. That's rag, attachment. Bhaya means fear of personal identity, personal spiritual identity. For them, merging into impersonal is highest. If somebody, impersonalist, they are fearful of God being a person, of the concept of God being a person, because for them, the identity means that it is going to go through the 6 changes. Right? The body is going to go through the 6 changes of taking birth, growing, having some byproducts, dwindling, getting disease, and then finally disappearing. So the God cannot be like that. God cannot have an identity. For them, the concept of identity is what we have. So it is not possible. So there is no identity, and everything is Brahman. Because they're too absorbed in material bodily concept of retaining personality after liberation from matter frightens them. And Prabhupada gives the analogy of impersonalists compare living entities to bubbles in the ocean, which merges into the ocean. So this is impersonal. Krodha means anger, means frustrated. Conception of void resulting from frustration of life. Become angry at all sorts of spiritual speculation out of hopelessness and takes to intoxication, accept hallucinations as spiritual vision. So you see, one has to get free from all these things and take refuge completely in Krishna consciousness to become fully absorbed in Krishna. But honestly, if you start paying attention in your own life, we are swinging between raga, bhaya, krodha. We are, you know. So Krishna gives this intelligence that okay, you're still swinging between one of the 3 things, raga, bhaya, krodha. Then and intoxication, okay, in general we say okay, one can have alcohol or um, you know drugs or smoking. Yes, but then there are different kinds of intoxicants, right? What are the different modern epidemic of an intoxication? It's actually not a drug or alcohol. What is a modern epidemic of intoxication? What is practically vast majority of the people across the globe are intoxicated with this particular thing? What is that?
Making money.
Making money. Okay.
Right.
Social media, Facebook and WhatsApp, and
Yeah, so yeah,
always checking the status.
yeah. So you're close enough. Like for example, like the virtual world of uh, what do you call it? Internet, virtual world of internet in some way or the other. Mindless scrolling. So because we call it as non-prescription painkiller, it's painful to be angry. It's painful to have fear. It's painful to be rejected. So go to something which is easily going to relieve that pain, which is just to get out of. I don't know. It's a so we actually don't address the reality of our existence because we get so virtual. That's actually the biggest epidemic in today's world. There's a saying that okay, one can live without food for 30 days, one can live without water for 7 to 10 days, one can live without sleep for 3 days, but one can live without Wi-Fi for maybe 30 minutes. So, my goodness, it's so prevalent. And we are all a part of the whole crux. It's not that having the internet is a bad thing. Is it becoming addicted or becoming owned by it? Krishna conscious person can have everything, but it's not going to be owned by it. They're going to maintain their ownership that I'm going to decide how much and when and all those boundaries. But a person who's swinging between raga, bhaya, krodha mindlessly, um, gets intoxicated, accepts hallucinations as spiritual vision. You know, you can do anything, say anything, and then you will always get some comments. What is that? How do you know, how do you start an argument on a social media? How do you start an argument on a social media? Again, the same concept. In India, it's 3 p.m. In Australia, it's
I haven't seen you for long.
no, you just post a comment and then you just wait. So that's it. Just post a comment and wait. And then you'll have argument invariably. So what I'm trying to say here is Krishna is saying it, that if we really want to become Krishna conscious, if we really want to put that in the front, we really identify that I don't have, this life of mine is just a chapter in my eternal existence. It's not the end in itself. Then one has to become very serious in developing these qualities of being freed from all these things. Okay, so this particular section is applying transcendental knowledge. So by hearing about Krishna, many persons in the past became purified and attained love for Krishna. They attained love for Krishna because this was their desire and Krishna fulfilled it. What if someone takes shelter of Krishna with something other than a desire to achieve transcendental love for him? Then what do they achieve? So people go to Krishna for, what is it called? Shopping list. I mean, if we can make that shopping list into a service list, go to Krishna with the list, but shopping list or service list, then what does Krishna say? In 4.11, Krishna explains reciprocation with such category of souls. He says this, everyone knows this verse, right? Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam satheva bhajamiham mama vartanuvartante manushya partha sarvashaha. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. So the question can be raised that Krishna is not partial. Krishna says in 9th chapter of Gita, Name asti suna priyaha. I'm not partial to anyone. I'm not friends with anyone or enemies with anyone. I'm basically impartial. And how do you explain this? That is it not a reflection of a partiality? As you surrender unto me, I will reward them accordingly. Is this a reflection of a partiality on behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Because if it's impartial, then everyone should get the same thing. Why are you saying no, Nikhil Prabhu?
No, I'm not saying he's impartial.
You think it's partial?
Yeah, partial towards devotees.
I'm saying he is impartial even with this shloka.
Hmm.
He's not saying that he's being impartial. Oh, he's being partial. My bad.
Okay. So how do you explain that?
Because the way we are surrendering to him, he is awarding us accordingly. You know, he is not giving us something that we don't deserve. If we taking one step towards him, he is taking 10 steps towards us. He's not, and if you're taking 10 steps, maybe he's taking 100 steps towards us.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, go more deep. Shiva Srinivas Prabhu, you said Krishna is partial towards his devotees.
Yeah.
How do you say that?
Because they're constantly engaged in pure devotional service. So obviously the Krishna is partial towards them.
Krishna is partial. Okay, thank you. So Krishna rewards everyone according to their surrender. So I'll talk about it. So we proper explains in the purport there are 3 levels of surrender. Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagwan. And who realizes Krishna fully? Only the pure devotee. So everyone, Krishna is saying everyone, even though somebody is trying to merge into Brahman or somebody is trying to realize Paramatma or Bhagwan feature, everybody is looking for Krishna in different aspects of his manifestation. So Krishna is the object of everyone's realization. So Krishna reciprocates based on desires. So in that way, what does partiality mean? Partiality means that I'm going to, even though I have an ability to give you more, but I'm not going to give it to you. Or I will give it to someone else who may not have an ability to take more. You see, in material world, we say partiality in the sense that, let's say, my children talk about it, teacher's pet. Some students are teacher's pet. Let's say, for discussion's sake, this is correct. I don't know, but discussion's sake, some students are teacher's pet because they follow teacher's direction. They are like, yes sir, yes ma'am, yes teacher kind of a student. So teacher is more inclined, obvious, like in a very obvious manner to that particular student. Other people feel that the teacher is being partial. That could be true. That could be true too, because the teacher has an ability to give equal knowledge to each and every student under their supervision, but they are concentrating more on a particular person. Right? So that's partiality. Understand? But is Krishna doing that? Is Krishna denying
Mataji.
the ability of a person to have more and giving less? Is Krishna doing that? He's not doing that.
No,
No.
no, he is not doing.
Yeah, so he's not doing that. So what is he doing? He's actually honoring the free will. You see, in a very good, in a very workable relationship,
मेरा चश्मा देखो ना ब्रो इसकी फिर तो
in a very workable relationship, the boundaries are set in the very beginning, right? Not the later. So Krishna is setting the boundary in the beginning. I'm giving you free will. I'm not going to interfere with it. But if you use your free will to come to me, I'll give it to you. I'll give you my service. If you use your free will to desire something else, then you get that. Because that's how a workable relationship is. He's not going to shove his presence down our throat, even though he really wants to. Okay, because he understands. You see, Bhagavad Gita can teach us how to make decisions, how to make friends, how to maintain a relation, make a relation, how to what else you learn from Bhagavad Gita? How to stalk, how to teach, how to learn. All these from Bhagavad Gita in the context of also knowing who I am. Who I am really I am. Not just the concept that is being thrown upon me since my birth that who I am. There's a story that we tell. This is how actually we accumulate trauma in this life, you know? There's a very nice evidence in it that how do we accumulate trauma and relive that trauma, something that happened years and years ago. People are still cribbing about this happened to me 30 years ago. And that's why I don't maintain relationship with this particular person. But okay, there's this incident that happens with somebody, okay? But then we associate a story with that incident and we keep telling the same narration to ourselves throughout our life to keep that trauma alive. So we are responsible for keeping it alive, even though the time has moved, people have moved, because we have not learned how to process it. So basically, Krishna is not going to do it. He's not going to do it. He understands. Krishna has given us the boundary. You have a free will to desire. I am not going to interfere with it at all in any circumstances. You desire, you come to me, and then we will reciprocate from there. And you have a question, Kilprabhu?
Yes, Mataji. No, if I may ask this in the middle of the session, I was holding it for the end, but this is something very interesting that you have, touched upon. We all have relationship issues. We see some, just for example, like some devotee or some fellow friend, we see him scheming, we see him, envious. How should we address that? He is not able to see, he was very good with us when we were low. He helped us. But then when we grow up and then he starts becoming insecure and starts becoming envious, how should we address that?
I had a discussion like this with one of the senior devotees one time, a few years ago. Said that Mataji explained me that every Krishna says in 13th chapter the change is is mutable, like only constant thing in this world is change, right? So even the relationships go through the change. The dynamics change. So how do you address that? First question that I will ask is, do I want to maintain the same kind of dynamics with this particular that doesn't mean that we are not going to be respectful. That doesn't mean that we are going to fill our heart with grudge and whatever negativity is coming our way. It doesn't mean that. The question to ask is that do I want to maintain the same dynamics or not? So if I want to maintain the same dynamics, then I have to understand that I'm not the only person in it. There are two people involved or two parties. So I can give it a try. And this is called rational detachment. Basically, there's a word behind it. It's called rational detachment. I'm going to give it a try because I have a need to maintain this particular dynamics with this particular person or devotee or family or whatever it may be. But if it doesn't come, if I'm not reciprocated, then I'm going to go in front of Krishna and say, Krishna, I surrender unto you more. Because I tried, you know, my heart. But I wish everyone well wisher. Please don't fill my heart with grudges and let me nurture what was nurturing at the moment. So first question, bigger question is not how, bigger question is do I? And if somebody really wants to, then we have to give it a try and take a risk. And if you want to take a risk, then you have to know that it can go either way. And if it goes positive, then it has to go positive means it has to go, all the parties have to grow in spiritual development, all of them. But if it doesn't go in that way, then one has to say, okay, Krishna, you know, there are Madhyamadikari, there's a discrimination, right? They make friends with the equal peers, and then they are compassionate to the innocent. They are respectful to superiors, and then they avoid people who are envious. So even Rupa Goswami Prabhupada has given us the freedom to choose what we want to do. So it's not coming from the mental level, it's coming from the Guru Sadhu Shastra principle. Because the first question I would ask is, do I? I have a friend, Paijada. I have so like bitter experience. And one day I just went to her, I said, I want you to be my friend, but I'm carrying this bitter experience. Can we address it? Or you would rather be busy with your services and not give me a time? I just threw it at her, thinking that whatever she'll say, I'll take it. She said she wants to address it. So we addressed it, and then the relationship grew more and more. So now we are like, okay, this is bothering me. We have to talk about it. So it can go that way. It can also go this way, that there's nothing wrong. The other person will be close. There's nothing wrong. You're speculating. Just because you have those feelings, you're seeing it in me. You're projecting. Okay, yes, then yes. I'm projecting. There's nothing wrong, Hare Krishna. So you have to move on. That's rational detachment. I don't know. Krishna does that too, you know. Krishna doesn't pay attention to people who are envious of him. He pays attention to people who are envious of his devotees. He doesn't pay attention to people who are envious of him. He didn't kill Kans because Kans was trying to kill him. Huh? Did he kill Kans because Kans was trying to kill Krishna? Or did he kill Kans because Kans was being bothered to his devotees? What was the reason? Arey, what was the reason?
Because he was killing everyone else.
Well, bother to his devotees, right?
Yeah.
Which meant a lot to him. Which is external reason again. Internal reason is something else, which is an external reason. So which may make us think that Krishna is partial. Well, Krishna is partial, but Krishna is also impartial. So actually Krishna is both. He's both. That's the right way of understanding. Okay, so if we go to Krishna as a fruitive worker, then Krishna reciprocates by being a Yagneshwar. If we go to Krishna to merge into Brahmajyoti out of frustration or fear of identity, then Krishna's Brahmajyoti is open for us to go. If I go to Krishna to achieve some mystic powers as a yogi, Krishna is Yogeshwara. He'll give it. If I go to Krishna as a devotee in 5 primary rasas, then Krishna will let me enter into that domain. Okay, so Prabhupada gives reference to this particular verse, Akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharati tivrena bhukti yogena pujyate param avyayam. What is the verse? Pujyate param kama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dharati It's in the purport. Let me see.
He
We
will
must
not
memorize
appear.
this verse. हमेशा भूल जाता है मुझे.
Yajeta Purusham Param Mataji.
Puri parasham param, not avyayam. Thank you. So akama means what? No kama, no desire. It means the spirit only desire is to serve Krishna. Sarva kama means all material desire. Moksha kama means desiring liberation. If anybody has all these things, kama, sarva kama, moksha kama, still go to Krishna. You know, tivrena bhakti yogena, without developing tivra bhakti, without coming to the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, all attempts are imperfect. Okay, and we do depend on Krishna's mercy for success. Even the demigods are dependent, right? All kinds of spiritual process are but different degrees of success on same path. So different degrees of success on the same path. So it will take time, but somebody who's fortunate, most fortunate, will come to Krishna consciousness directly and will also be able to utilize it very directly and fully. And also, how do we know we are utilizing Krishna consciousness in our life directly? There are a few markers, but one of the markers which I really personally relish is that when we go to preach other devotees or other people in public or wherever, every time the speaker finishes the talk, the person who's hearing, the audience, must feel empowered. That, okay, this Krishna consciousness is so nice, I'm going to go ahead and do it and I'm going to become staunch devotee of Krishna. So unless and until we are actually giving that empowerment, you know, we hear Prabhupada. Don't we feel empowered after hearing Prabhupada? Do you hear Prabhupada every day? Do you feel empowered by Prabhupada's Vani, Prabhupada's class,
Yes.
Prabhupada's voice? So that's like the biggest marker, that it's not that, okay, I go and I make a show of my knowledge and my austerity and penance and, you know, number of years of practice and seniority or what, da. No, even a small child can be a very empowering preacher if they're able to give that empowerment to someone else. And then you take it, you carry the, what is that, relay? You carry the relay, you know, the relay race, that, you know, 400-meter relay. 4 people are running. So one track runner runs 100 meters, passes the relay to the other one that runs 100 meters, then passes it to another, runs 100 meters, and they all collectively complete the 400-meter relay. Like that, our journey in Krishna consciousness is like that. Here, I know this much, you take it. And then the other person takes it further. Other person takes it further. Other person takes it further. And everybody gets benefited. Like that's what Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said. If you preach this cult of Krishna consciousness, that not only you will get benefited, but the person who is hearing will also get benefited. Krishna wants that. You see, that's the sign of a good servant. Prabhupada gives the example of a carpenter. A carpenter is carving out a very intricate furniture piece. And very beautiful. Actually, in Vrindavan, I saw a person making a house like that. From Jaipur, he had come. Very beautiful carpentry he was doing for a house near Govardhan. And so I remember Prabhupada says, so now carpenter finishes the work. So who does this work belong to? The carpenter will say, oh, because this is my artistry, I have put so much effort and I deserve the praise. So it's mine. Is that the right consciousness?
Again, Mataji, sorry.
No.
So if
The
the
carpenter
carpenter
says?
finishes a masterpiece on a wood or on a woodwork, who does that woodwork really belong to? Even though the carpenter did it, but who does it belong to? Who will be the
To the
end?
owner for whom he is doing.
Yeah, so if the carpenter like just gives it to the owner on behalf of whom they were doing it, that's a good dealership, right? Good business. So like that, good service. Our service to Krishna is the same way. That if we have to always remember that who does it really belong to? who is at the center? The problem happens when we misplace or displace the center. And we do it every day, every moment. That's why we are in problem. So understand that Krishna is partial and impartial both at the same time. Over here, he's impartial. In 9th chapter, he's partial because he says that Krishna says, Arjun, I'm imparting this knowledge onto you because you are non-envious of me. But here he says, I'm not partial. I give according to what other people approach me with. And that's a sign of a good teacher also. This way of teaching is, let's say you're distributing Srimad Bhagavatam on the street. Okay? Now, a person becomes interested and comes and talks to you. Now, are you going to start, okay, this is Srimad Bhagavatam and this is Sambandha Gyan, Abhidaya Gyan, Prayojan Gyan? Or are you just going to say, okay, read this and your life will become stress-free? What will you say?
Read and your life will be stress-free.
Yeah, but both things are correct. But you're not going to say Sambandha Gyan, Abhidaya Gyan, Prayojan Gyan, because the other person is not ready, you know. So a good teacher doesn't vomit all the information on the student at the same time. You have to give it in gradations and develop that level of sensitivity. So Krishna has been very sensitive to a person for what they're ready. And he also knows that ultimately you're coming my way. And he is capable of holding on to us through any circumstances. There's no way we are ever without the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We feel we are because we are conditioned by the material modes of nature, but we are not. Okay. So from that place of knowing and not knowing, somewhere in between the conditioned soul is, that's why it's a tathastha Shakti. What is a tathastha Shakti? Tatha, what does tatha mean? It is Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, Tathastha Shakti. What does Tathastha Shakti mean? What does that word mean?
Marginal energy.
So yeah, that's good. But what does Tatha mean? Tathastha.
Bank. It's like the bank of a river. And
Yes.
sometimes your feet are in water and sometimes they are on land.
As a part of a land which is right next to the water body, sometimes that land is a part of the water, sometimes the land is a part of the land, depending on the level of the water. So like that, we are at the crux, at the margin. Sometimes we are inside internal energy, sometimes we are external energy. So sometimes we know, sometimes we don't know. We know, we don't know. I had this question yesterday. Oh my goodness, and Prabhupada, I was listening to his lecture and he answered it. I said, I was thinking, if I'm a part and parcel of Krishna, then and Krishna is so powerful, you know, that there's nothing more powerful than Krishna, and I am his part and parcel. How did I become covered at all? How did I become covered at all? Satchitananda. How did it happen at all? So I was thinking, and immediately I heard Prabhupada's classes. Prabhupada was saying, because fascinating, huh? Prabhupada said, because we are very minute, because the size is very small. There's no ratio. Because it's very minute, so it can become covered. It's not lost. It's not lost, it's just covered. We just have to uncover it. And Krishna cannot be covered because the amount is so big. His size of Satchitananda is so big that there's nothing which can cover it. And now, like for example, if you have a car and you take your comforter to cover the outside of the car, can you cover it? Can you put a cover or say, okay, my car is now well packed because I put my comforter on my car outside? Is it covered? Is it covered?
No.
So, but if you take a small scooty and then you put your big comforter on it, can you cover that?
Yeah.
Yes.
The same way, Krishna's magnanimity of Satchidananda is so big that there is no measurement in the entire creation which can cover that. But our mind becomes covered. So Prabhupada answered this, that it can happen, and it has happened. We are living the consequences of it. But can I uncover it? Yes. Krishna consciousness is so good. It gives us empowerment to say that this is not how my narrative of this life is going to end. It's there right now, but it's not how this is going to be. I'm not going to let it happen. And when we do it in Krishna consciousness, it's not out of the pride, or it's not out of the sense of a doership. It's out of the sense of finding one's real identity. But when we apply the same thing in our material consciousness, then we go away. The same thing, just a matter of consciousness. Okay, so Kangshantaha karmanam siddhim yajate yajanta iha devataha Shipram hi manusheshu loke siddhir bhavati karmaja. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. So demigod. So Prabhupada explains in the purport that there are few problems with demigod worship. This person is in what mode who's worshipping demigod for fulfilling their fruitive desire? What mode of nature is prominent in them? Goodness, passion, ignorance.
Passion.
Passion, Mataji.
Okay.
Goodness.
Krishna says goodness in 14th chapter. And he says passion is if somebody is thinking themselves as the only doer. So Krishna says if somebody recognizes authority higher than them, then it's mostly goodness. But there's some problems. What are the problems? One is that demigods give results. Yes, when we please them, they give results, but the results are temporary. And then Prabhupada says that at the end of the annihilation, both demigods and demigod worshippers annihilate. And then third thing is, we really don't know. Do you know, demigods don't discriminate whether to give or not give. They just give if they're pleased. Krishna discriminates. If I give, then what will be the consequences on this particular person's life in their journey back to me? Demigods don't discriminate. So basically, we get more and more entangled in the web of our own desires because we don't know what we are desiring right now is actually good for us or not. Has it happened in your life that you desired something so much and you got it, and then finally the same thing became like, why was I desiring it so much? Huh? Has it happened in your life?
Hmm.
It's not
Many
possible it
times.
hasn't happened. There's a verse for it. There's a verse for it. Fifth chapter, Bhagavad Gita, 22nd verse. What is it? Ye hi samsparshaja bhoga. Huh? Dukkha yoni, the dukkha yoni sha
Yonaya evate.
evate. Adi antavanta kantaya na
Adyantavanta kanteya na
na
teshu ramate
teshu labate
buddhaha.
buddha. So there the word yoni, you know, yehi samsparshaja bhoga, dukkha yonaya evate. So dukkha yonaya evate. So yoni means womb, right? The child comes from the womb. So it's okay, from the touch of the sense and sense objects, from that takes birth. What does it take birth? Dukkha. Or the misery takes birth. Now, from the womb of the misery, happiness takes birth. From the womb of happiness, misery takes birth. So that's how it goes on. So one example given is one person wanted a BMW so bad. You know, they were saving up to buy this particular model. Really wanted, and were imagining themselves driving in it so nicely and having all those luxurious controls inside the vehicle. And then they got it. And then the friends were like, you're so good, you desired and you got it. So are you enjoying it? He said, I want to enjoy it, but it has become a source of my misery. How? Because now when I park it, I'm always worried somebody will scratch it, somebody will break into it, something will happen to it, accident will do. So basically, the misery, happiness, source of misery has become a source of happiness, has become a source of misery. So we don't know. So demigods don't discriminate, you see. They just give it. Krishna discriminates, so he's a good guy. It's actually the best guide to go to because it discriminates and actually filters everything out and gives you what's really, or gives us what's really, really, really going to work in the long run. But we don't want that long run. I just want now. Now. Okay, then go to demigods. So that person goes. He's not saying that person is good or bad. Yet. He will, yet he's not saying. So demigod worship is always worship supreme as obedient servant. Wait, what is happening here? Differences between demigod worship and Krishna worship. So demigod worship, they are obedient servants of Krishna. Left side is demigod worship. They are created by Supreme and they exist within the material nature and delegated with various grades of power to manage the affairs of the universe. Subordinate to the will of the Supreme, have material bodies, hence subject to birth, death, old age, and disease. And they also come under the influence of three modes of material nature to different extents. Okay, the demigods are like administrative heads of the material creation. It's like in India, there is a class called Indian Administrative Services, IAS, right? Those services. So they're like acting on behalf of the government. They have powers. They have powers to mend rules and to get things done quickly than a common person would. But the thing is that it's not all in all. That in nowhere it says we should not respect them. We can respect them, but we don't need to follow them. Devotee of Krishna even respect a small ant. What to say of demigods? But Krishna is one. Krishna is supreme whole, supremely worshipable, supreme creator, beyond material creation, supreme controller, supremely independent, and completely spiritual, completely beyond the influence of three modes of nature, material nature, and eternally the same supreme Lord. So a person who has a refined intelligence will go to Krishna. Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udharati. Pretty much that. But person who doesn't have that wants to go to demigod because they're affected by three modes of material nature. Now for them, what is Krishna gonna do? He's not gonna throw them out in the ocean. He actually creates a Devi Varnashram system for us to get us purified. He creates this. Chaturvarnam maya shreshtam guna karma vibhagasha tasya kartaram api mam vidya kartaram avyayam. You see this word avyayam is word so many times in this particular chapter. This is the third time I'm reading avyayam. So according to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, so guna and karma, three modes of material nature and the work which is associated with three modes of material nature, Krishna has divided human society. The four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. Okay, so Chatur Varnam Maya Shreshtam Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Vibhaga means division. So division based on guna and karma. Three modes of material nature and the work ascribed in those three modes. Krishna makes this human society division into four varna. And even though he makes it, but he is not doer and he is not changeable. He doesn't come under the influence of it. Prabhupada gives example of a king visiting a jail in his kingdom. Just because he's visiting the jail, just because he has made arrangement for a jail to be there on the land of the kingdom, doesn't mean that king is under the influence of the rules and regulations of the jail. Is he? Is he? Some prisoner
No.
thinks, oh, me and king are same. They're not, right? Like that Krishna, even though he has made it, he's not under the influence of it. So Varnashram Dharma is based on divisions of guna and karma. Who's the creator? Krishna. But because he's a creator, that doesn't mean that he belongs to any of these varnas and ashrams. Okay, so what are the four varna? Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So varna means occupation, work. So based on work, the Brahman is a person who is predominantly in the mode of goodness. Kshatriya is predominantly mode of passion. Vaishya is predominantly mode of passion and ignorance, and Shudra is mode of ignorance. What is the purpose? To elevate from animal status to human status. people should purify themselves by regulating the desires. And process of purification for one whose material desire inhibits him from directly approaching Krishna. Okay, so material desires inhibiting one. I was listening to one lecture by Swami Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj. He was saying we have so many management courses across the world. Business management, risk management, disaster management, crisis management. Tell me some more management courses. Information management. What are the other? Hospital management.
Anger
Hotel
management.
management. Again, anger management, hotel management. What other management courses are there? Will you know of?
Wealth management.
Wealth, oh my goodness. Yes, that's a big one. Financial management. Yes. What other management? Home science management, home management. You see, but actually what we really need is not there. And what is it really need? Desire management. We don't have a course on desire management. So Krishna has given this desire management. See, because the material desires inhibit him from directly approaching Krishna. So Krishna consciousness tells us desire management. He doesn't tell us to become desireless. That's out of frustration and fear. But Krishna consciousness is how to manage that desire. Okay, that's so nice. Actually, the more you go in Krishna consciousness, understand, the more you become convinced, hopefully, the more you become convinced that there is nothing superior to it. Do you become convinced every day, every time we do go through this, that this is the best thing I have in my life? Under any circumstances, not the Rolex watch, not what is it, the color TV, the house by the sea, and a 50 gigabyte MP3. Not that. This is the best thing one can have in their life. So Varnashram Dharma is created by Krishna, who is the non-doer, Vidhi Akartaram, transcendental to the modes, mixture of guna and karma. So 3 modes and work associated with them. Why? Because to avoid degradation, to protect, to support, for cooperation and not discrimination. Caste system is discrimination. But there is no caste system mentioned here. There is work mentioned here and modes of material nature mentioned here. So what are the corresponding ashrams for Varna? So Varna is a social order and ashram is a spiritual order. For a Varna of Brahman, which is a social order, a Brahman can have these ashrams: Brahmachari, Grihast, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. Okay, for a Varna of a Kshatriya, these are the ashram. They cannot be sannyasi. So that also tells us why Krishna is downplaying Arjun's proposal to become a sannyasi, a renunciant. It's a Kshatriya, Brahmachari, Grihast, and Vanaprastha. And then Varna ashram for Vaishya is Brahmachari and Grihastha. But ashram for Shudra is only Grihastha ashram. That is why there's so much influence given on marriage ceremony performances. India is like one of the greatest countries in the world where marriages are celebrated very elaborately, magnanimously, right? In America, or in, I don't know, you tell me in Canada, Nikhil Prabhu, or in Australia, Kirti Mataji, how much emphasis those people pay in marriage ceremony itself. Anyhow, the Shudras can only get married. So Grihastha, no Brahmachari, no Vanaprastha, no Sannyas. So what makes Krishna divide the human society like that? And we studied that. Now, if there is no work that is there for Krishna, then why Krishna works? This can be, brought up. Krishna works. Do you agree or not? When
Yes,
we read
Mataji.
Krishna book, and he
Yeah.
is taking his cows and calves on to the forest. He is what other work he's doing? Killing the demons. He is what all work Krishna is doing? Serving his his devotees. He's serving them. What other? Not the fun part, but the work. What does he do?
Chariot driver.
So, yeah, very nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, so the chariot driver of Arjun. What other work is Krishna doing? Conducting the marriage ceremony of his own children, building palaces for his queens, right? So he's like working. So why Krishna works? Namam karmani limpanti, name karma phale sparaha, iti mamyo abhijanati, karma bhirna sapadhyate. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Karmabhir sana badhyate. Iti mam yo abhijanati. Karmabhir na sa badhyate. One who understands this truth about Krishna, that he's working, but he's not working like I'm working because I want some fruit of the action, because I have some need to meet with that work. He's working, but he's not getting entangled in the fruit of action, also does not get entangled in the fruit of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. You know, Krishna is working as a grihastha by welcoming Sudama to his family. A Brahman, you know, a grihastha, when they welcome a Brahmana to the or sannyasi to the family, they're supposed to offer certain kind of welcome. Krishna is working as a Kshatriya on the war field of Mahabharata. Krishna is working as a Vaishya in his pastimes in Vrindavan with the cowherd boys and cows. Krishna is working as a Shudra by serving Arjun by driving his chariot. Shudras only serve others. But can we say that Krishna has become affected by any of these works? So what is the name of Krishna which actually explains all these infallible qualities of Krishna? What's that name?
Achyut.
Achyut.
Yeah, very nice. He doesn't fall down from his position. Evam gyatva kritam karma purvaver api mumukshibhi kuru karmeva tasmatvam purve purvataram kritam. All the liberated souls in ancient time acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. So this is so nice. So he said that to come to me, one has to be free from raga, bhaya, krodha. And he says that to come to me, one needs to be free from a desire to worship demigod for their material desire. If somebody has a material desire and they want to worship a demigod, then they have to do it in the then there is varnashram system. But if somebody can just like put that aside and then can understand that when I'm working, but I'm working and I'm not getting entangled by my work, they also don't get fruitive reactions to their work. And is there an example? Because Arjun can say you're talking, but is there an example? And you're talking from your life, but is there an example of who has done that? Krishna is such a good intuitive teacher. He understands this could be next question of Arjun. So he says that all liberated souls in ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. So if there's a doubt in life whether I should do it or not do it, whether this particular situation in my life is worth putting a time and effort on, or whether I should just let it go, we have to go here, go in the reference, look for a reference in ancient times of a liberated person who did this and how did it turn out for them. See, I find life of Bhaktivinoda Thakur very inspiring. Sometimes sometimes or most of the time there's this sense of self-flagellation, self-criticism that, oh, there's so much to do at work, at home, so much to do this. So at the end of the day, I'm tired and I cannot read. Do you do that? Or I'm the only person in the whole world doing it? Tell me no, I'm not the only person. I'm so tired, I worked all day. Okay, you do it, okay? I have like so many roles I played. I'm exhausted. I need to sleep. Just leave me alone, right? But I can't read. Okay, these books are there. I am there, but my sleep is also there. So one day I was praying to my deity that give me some understanding because the time is limited, the work is not getting less, the responsibilities are increasing, at least at the present moment. Who is that example which I can follow when I was reading this verse? Who is that? Yes, Prabhupada, but Prabhupada is situated in sannyas order. I'm not in sannyas order. You know, maybe even though it's not really true that we can't do what Prabhupada is teaching, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur Prabhupada came to my consciousness. I felt so guilty. Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur Prabhupada had 10 children. He was the magistrate of a court and he was the leader of Jagannath temple. And he was writing like books. He managed. How did he manage? So pray. Basically, don't give an excuse. Don't develop a victim mentality. This particular verse in my life saves me from developing a victim mentality. They don't get victimized by the situation that one is placed in by the influence of time or karma or whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. You all are there, but my Krishna consciousness is there and these acharyas are there. So thank you for being there, but I'll probably go there. So this actually gives an empowerment that you should perform your duty following in their footsteps. Okay. So this is the last part I want to discuss. Understanding karma on the platform of Gyan. Moving reaction, transcendental knowledge helps one to clear up philosophical doubts. Also helps to clear up karmic bank balance. Burns karma. Karma is a universal law of nature. For every action, there is a reaction. Bad karma is obviously undesirable, and Krishna explains that even good karma should be avoided. Beyond good and bad is the spiritual level, no action and reaction, which is akarma. When I got initiated, my spiritual master told, I remember, it is a conception very well known that when somebody gets initiated, their karmic balances are either minimized or eradicated, depending on the consciousness of the person who is getting initiated at the moment of initiation. How much mercy are they able to absorb? Either the karmic balance is gone or it is minimized. Like Gurmaharaj said, generally when we say that and we just say karma, it generally means to people that bad karma is minimized or gone, right? So Gurmaharaj said, but that's not true because it's not just the bad karma, but the good karma is also gone or minimized. Oh, so you really want to get initiated? So because your bad karma and good karma both will be, minimized or gone. So basically, karma, yes, why not? It's because then we're going to develop a spiritual karma. But it takes effort because that's the biggest blocker in somebody's life to take initiation. We like to get rid of the bad things. Like, would you like if somebody comes to your house and cleans up the house for free, makes your lawn and makes a very nice landscape and don't charge you anything? Would you like that? And do some house management projects, especially in foreign countries, it's so difficult. India is a little easy. Huh? We like it, but would you like if somebody comes and, takes some valuables from your house at the same time too? Which you collected after so much effort. There's something like that. Krishna consciousness, initiation is something like that. That bad karma and good karma, no karma. Karma. So understand, my spiritual master said that at that moment. So do you want to get initiated? I said, yes. I want to get initiated because both are burden. Both are burden. But we do philanthropic activities, pious activities to increase the balance of good karma and to decrease the balance of bad karma. But both are burden. You see, 9 stages of bhakti. What are the 9 stages of bhakti? Tell me. Shraddha,
Shraddha, sadhusanga, bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti, ruchi, nishtha, asakti, bhava and prema.
Yes, very nice. So, you see, Madhura Kadambini, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Prabhupada explains, is so interesting. Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti. Okay, this is compared to something like we have a backpack and then we are going up the mountain. Okay, a heavy backpack and you're trekking up the mountain. Because the anarthas are still there. Even though there is Shraddha, there is Sadhu Sangha, there is Bhajan Kriya, it's still a bag of anarthas are still there until one comes to a stage of anartha nivritti when we actually release that backpack. And then it's a stream ride after that, like nishtha, ruchi, asakti, bhava, prema. So the question was raised in the assembly one time that why are we carrying the backpack until anartha nivritti stage? Shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajan kriya. Why are we carrying that backpack? Why are we still carrying our anarthas? Why is the stage of anartha nivritti not before bhajan kriya and sadhu sangha? Why is it like this? What is my Guru Maharaj said, because we like what's in the bag. We like it. We like to enjoy our karmic, good karmic reactions. But anartha nivritti comes when it says, I don't want it. I really don't want it. Who is that? We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam nowadays. What is that? Priyavrat. Yeah, Priyavrat Maharaj, right? Priyavrat. You know the pastor of Priyavrat Maharaj? My goodness, he said, I have had enough. I don't want to enjoy anymore. He said it. He was in the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj. And after the Prachetas, there was no one to rule. So Swambhu Manu went to his other son, whose name is Priyavrat, who is actually leading a very nice renunciant life on the top of Gandha Madhava hill as a renunciant. But now Swambhu Manu wants to retire. He can't retire unless until he gives the ruling to his other son, who is Priyavrat Maharaj. So Priyavrat Maharaj it takes a lot of persuasion to convince him to come and rule the world and get married and have children. Even Brahma had to come. It was not easy to convince him. So he accepts it on behalf of Brahma's order, and even though Narad Muni is also right there. Anyway, the pastime rolls around. He gets married to two wives, have very nice children. His children are Manus. They're not ordinary children. And then at one point he says that, I have had enough. I don't want to enjoy anymore. Vyasdev Prabhupada is translating it literally like this. Literally, I have had enough. I don't want to enjoy anymore. So that's like a karma. It's like, I don't want anymore now. That's done. So understanding karma on the platform of Gyan, Nishkam karma, Gyan, action, forbidden action, and inaction. So what is karma? Karma is action. Karma is defined as different things in different places in Bhagavad Gita. In this particular context, karma is defined as an action which is performed in terms of one's prescribed duty as mentioned in revealed scriptures. In chapter 8, karma is defined as action which leads to another material body, and chapter 13 also. Okay, so there are different variations or definitions of karma in Bhagavad Gita. Here, in this particular section that we are reading, it is defined as actions performed in terms of one's prescribed duties as mentioned in revealed scriptures. That's karma. Vikarma are actions which are performed by the misuse of one's freedom, which direct one's to the lower life. And akarma is action which free from the cycle of birth and death. So law of nature is every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. 16th and 17th chapter, Krishna doesn't spend much time on karma in Bhagavad Gita, does he? He spends a lot of time in defining soul. He spends a lot of time in defining bhakti. He spends a lot of time in telling us the qualities of a devotee. He spends a lot of time in modes of material nature. But does he really spend a lot of time in karma? Does he? I am assuming everybody has read Bhagavad Gita at least once or twice in their life, and this is not the first time. And I do need to hear, yes, I'm right.
Yes, Mataji. He doesn't mention much. Again, even in the second chapter, he says like Gahana Karmano Gatihi. So, it's very hard to so he does not mention much.
But Mataji, in third and fifth chapter is talking entirely about karma. That
Yes.
Arjuna is asking whether karma yoga is shresht or karma sannyas. So he's saying how you should be, how you should work so that you are not entangled in the fruit of. So he's spending time there.
Yes.
Spending time in
Telling
karma
about-
yoga, not karma.
Yes,
The
karma
general
yoga.
understanding is karma yoga. That's bhakti. It's a part of the ladder of bhakti, right? Karma
Yes.
yoga, not karma. So karma is
Okay.
like, I'll give you an example. Karma is like if somebody's life is going smooth, okay, good everything, good family, good money, good education. What is it? What are the four things that Queen Kunti says we aim for or strive for in this world? Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri, right? Janma, good birth. Aishwarya, good money. Shruta, beauty. Shri, opulences. So these are the four things we aspire for, and this we say are somebody have them, that means it's a big they. What do we say? Okay, somebody's life is going smooth, smooth, smooth. Oh, they have good karma. But then boom, something happens. And then something goes wrong. I know a family who had a huge house in Connecticut, huge house. And then few years ago there was a storm and they had a huge tree in their backyard. The tree fell over the roof. The roof broke. The roof broke. The roof broke of the house, the huge house. Imagine, and the family had to be removed from the house. So how do you explain that? We say, oh, karam achhe nahi the, right? This is what we say. That's karma. But Krishna talks about karma yoga. How can you work in such a way that you remain connected to me? That's different, Anvaya Mataji. Okay, understand the difference.
Okay, thank you.
Here is saying kim karma kim akarmeti kavayo api atra mohitaha tatte karma pavashyami yaj gyatva mokshayasi ashubhat. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. So what is action? What is inaction? Kim karma kim akarmeti. Oh, this is a powerful verse. Karmano hi api bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. Okay, action is karma, forbidden action is vikarma, and inaction is akarma. So, what are they? So Vikarma is a person. Vikarmi is a person who don't follow the Vedas. They have risk of being degraded to lower status of life. They don't not appreciate by saintly people, and they defeat the purpose of the life. Karmi is a person who follow the Vedas. They're pious. They attain Swarga, bodies of demigod, eventually return to Mrityulok. A Karmi is a person who has come to the platform of devotional service to Krishna. No fruitive activities binds and means rebirth. That doesn't mean that a Karmi is not performing a work. Then what is the difference between a Karmi and an Akarmi? They both are performing the work, which are according to the Vedic direction. So what is the difference? What's the difference? Karmi and Akarmi. Vikarmi easy to understand. है ना? Karmi और Akarmi में क्या फर्क है?
The Akarmi, he also do the work, but he offers it to the Lord. So he do all works in his best, but he offers it to the Lord. To satisfy the Lord, he do the work.
Very nice. And what about Karmi?
Karmi, he works for the works and he expects results.
Yes,
And,
very nice. Very nice. Thank you. So, there is a difference in the consciousness. Difference is who is actually at the center of the enjoyment. Okay, so it's not that one is doing better than the other, is that who are you doing it for? What's your consciousness? Krishna explains in 18th chapter that the work that is done at the gross level is already first done at the subtle level, right? It's already done, the planning is already done at the mind level. And execution is at the gross level. So what is more important? What is more powerful? Subtle body or gross body? Which has more power? Mind, intelligence.
Subtle body.
Subtle body has
Subtle.
more power, right? We all agree. So we do everything. 6th canto Srimad Bhagavatam explains, a conditioned soul does everything in their power to defeat or to overcome an uncomfortable situation in life. Everything. Look around. What is that? Science makes life comfortable. Like there's a whole deal that science, if there's a disease, invent a vaccine or a medicine, or big hospital, build a hospital, train people to cure. Or if there is economic crisis, then try to mobilize the emergency funds, try to save, ask for help, right? If there is food crisis, then try to import food or do something. We don't like to be uncomfortable, right? But spirituality makes people better. Science makes things better. Spirituality makes people better. So a karmi is not that they're not working. They're working, but they're working from being a better person. Same Arjun is going to fight the war. Same Arjun did not want to fight the war, but he's going to fight the war from a platform of understanding that I am just going to do it for Krishna. It doesn't matter whether I'm going to win the war or I'm going to lose the war. I'm just going to do it because I have to do it for Krishna. That's a karmi. And he's not going to become entangled in the fruits of action. But the other party is also going to fight the war. Duryodhan is also going to fight the war. But he's going to fight the war with the intention that I have to win because I want to rule. See the difference in same activity. They both are doing the same activity. Both are fighting. But there is difference in the consciousness. So subtle body is more powerful than the gross body. Understood or not understood or confused? I'll confuse you more here. Karmaniya karma यह पाश्येद अकर्मणि च कर्म यः सा बुद्धिमान मनुष्येषु स युक्ता कृत स कर्म कृत. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction among one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men, and he is in the transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. Give an example. Explain this verse, please. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligent among men. Now, Krishna has his own neuropsych testing evaluation test. If we want to get IQ tested, we send people to neuropsych evaluation. Here he is testing our intelligence. Intelligent question by this question. One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction. Karmani akarma ya pashyet. Akarmani cha karma yaha. So seeing action in inaction and seeing inaction in action. Explain it, please. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay. But take an effort. Take the risk.
Mataji, inaction means not necessarily inactivity. It means action that's not going to bind you.
Give an example.
Now it's Rami Navaratra. So I was just reading Ramayan. So when Ram and Sita Mata, they go to the exile, Lakshman also goes with them. So he's working so much They cross the river, and then it's evening, and he first makes the ground level, gathers so many leaves, and then it has said that he made a paranashaya, a bed of leaves. So I was thinking how many leaves he must have gathered and how much time he must have taken. So even during the entire exile, he was always keeping a guard. He was busy, gathering wood to make the kutir, and doing all kinds of work. So it was, but that action is not going to bind him. It's going to only like
Bring him
liberate
more
him.
close to Lord Ram. Okay, very nice. Okay, then
Yes.
action in an action. Okay, inaction in action. हो गया action in action. Now what about inaction in action? Give an example of inaction in action. Array. Inaction in action. Huh?
Can we say? Can we
Yes.
say
No,
Mataji,
it's just the opposite.
prescribed duties?
Go ahead, Prabhu. Shiva Srinivas Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Can we say like prescribed duties come under that category? They appear externally as an action, but the results don't bind to this material world. Rather, they uplift the consciousness. Can we categorize them? Because the goal is to please Guru and Krishna. So, will they fall under this category?
I think that will be action in inaction, no? Inaction in action. Am I understanding it wrong? Karmani akarma ya pashyet. Manu sees inaction in action. And action in inaction. So that will be action in inaction, following the rules and regulations, because it looks like that there is an action, but actually there is no reaction to it. So it's an inaction. But inaction in action is something like, what I can think of is like that we are going through our life. We go through the ladder is told to us by the family, society, country. Get educated, get a job, have a family, be a good citizen, help others in need. Right? These are like the moral codes of existence that we are taught. Don't lie, don't cheat, all these. But then it doesn't move us even an inch closer to Krishna in a literal sense. It does move. Krishna says in 12th chapter that yes, these qualities are there, but he doesn't say that these qualities are like the primal qualities. So that's inaction. That there's so much action going on, but then it doesn't really lead to the inactivity level or the level or place where I can become fully Krishna conscious. Okay, think about it. And he's transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. That person, Prabhupada said when he was Prabhupada, I remember listening to one Prabhupada class, and he said he finds some people find big buildings very fascinating. Right? He said like you go to New York and there's these big buildings. He was mentioned about a Twin Towers. I don't know. It was like 100 and some floors, 108 floors.
102 Empire State Building, I think, Mataji.
Okay, so 100. Okay,
102
okay,
stores.
so
I've
102
read
floors. So some people find it fascinating. You look down and look up, and it's so big. And Prabhupada said, I find it as a prison. I find these buildings as prisons. You get locked inside. So that's like wow, this is like Prabhupada's perception is somebody has done so much effort to make this come manifest, and Krishna allowed it to manifest, but here is a pure devotee who's saying this is like a prison. So basically our own action make a cobweb around us and they bind us to this material world. But Krishna conscious action actually is able to liberate us so we can come out. Okay. I will continue. Probably I'm taking too much time, but I want to finish till 24, so maybe next 5 minutes. Yes, sarve samarambha karma sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagda karmanam tam ahu panditam buddha. One is understood to be in full knowledge, whose every endeavor is devoid of desire for sense gratification. He is said by sages to be a worker for whom the reactions of work have been burned up by the fire of perfect knowledge. So this is the importance of Jnana Yoga. Because we can burn our reactions of work by perfect knowledge. Just by knowing that what I'm going to do, is it going to be beneficial for my upliftment in Krishna consciousness? Is it going to benefit the people around me in Krishna consciousness? Is it going to take me closer to my ultimate goal? We actually take right steps to Krishna appreciating Jnana Yoga. But Jnana Yoga is not the perfect thing in itself. That's why he further builds Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, Bhagavad Gita would have stopped here. He's not perfect, but he's appreciating the presence of knowledge. Takta karma phalasangam nitya tripto nish ashrayaha karmani abhipravatto api neva kinchit karoti saha. Abandoning all attachment to the results of his activities, all ever satisfied and independent, he performs no fruitive action, although engaged in all kinds of undertakings. So the attachment to the result of activity is abandoned, but the attachment to devotional service is maintained. Once there was a temple president, okay, and Prabhupada was at the temple. I don't know which country was that, but I've read it. And he came with the donation box to Prabhupada's room, shouting, being very critical, because somebody had stolen the donations from that particular box. And they knew who had stolen, and a person had disappeared from the temple. So this temple president came to Prabhupada with his donation box and then started saying that, see, this particular person stole all the donations to the temple and he ran away. So he was being very critical, very, like clear, loud, and obviously hurt, and was saying like this in front of Prabhupada. And he was expecting that Prabhupada would validate whatever he's saying is correct. Yes, this person did it. Yes, yes, yes. Right, but you know what Prabhupada said? He said, why are you, I don't want to paraphrase, I'll tell you the real thing. Why are you cursing the carrier of your karma? So basically, a person carried the karma for you, and you're cursing the carrier of the karma instead of learning the lesson. That's one way we can change the story of trauma that we tell ourselves. This person did this to me, or this particular situation did this to me, or whatever. This didn't work out, but actually everybody was just a carrier of our own karma. A devotee of Krishna will take it and will get satisfied, and it actually, that satisfaction gives them independence to act and be engaged in all kinds of undertakings. But a person who's not a devotee doesn't get satisfied. It just gets stuck. You see, the word here is ever satisfied and independent. So what is it, independent? We get independence from this particular kind of bondage. Like, okay, I accept nothing in my life is going to happen if it is not sanctioned by Krishna. Good or bad, doesn't matter. Everything is going to be like that. And I have full faith. A person who doesn't have a faith, person who doesn't have that ability to surrender fully to Krishna gets bound. That is why it is important to process. Don't bypass. This is called spiritual bypass. Do you know the word spiritual bypassing? Do you know this?
Yes, Mataji, you told us earlier.
Oh, I did? Okay,
Yes.
I tell everywhere I go. Sorry. What is it? What is it?
You try to take the shortcut.
Yeah,
Bypass all the things.
So what does it mean? Give me an example. If I give you an example, let's say that let's say visual bypassing is that somebody has come to Krishna consciousness. That person is fortunate. Either way, hook or crook, or someone has come. But the person, now the problem is maintenance phase. You know, coming was not a big, it was a big deal, but really the bigger deal is to maintain that status quo. Now in Krishna, to stay in Krishna consciousness, which is harder. So the person comes to Krishna consciousness, and the reason is that they got fed up with everything that was going around in their life. No relationship was working. No job prospects worked out. You see, no rationale of developing a growth mindset worked out. Okay, Krishna, here I come. Now you, Tvamekam, Krishna Tvamekam, to come. Now they come and they live in the association of the devotees, and they think we are going to be a pure devotee in one day. But what happens? The same barriers manifest. Actually, they manifest in a multifold level with the devotees because the purification is harder. Same, like nothing is working out with the devotees now. The relationship is not working out. So many problems, so many services, no time to rest. They don't understand me. I'm not given full attention. Where am I in the equation? You see, so that's spiritual bypassing. You say, Krishna, you came. Krishna, Tvamekam. I'm fed up. So I've come to you. You come to Krishna and live with the devotees. It's not working out there as well. So where is the problem? Is the problem the devotee? Is the problem the process of Krishna consciousness? Or is the problem with you? Well, the problem is with you. Right? Because it didn't work out anywhere. So that's spiritual bypassing. We just bypass our material existence, our subtle body, gross body, and want to go to the soul directly. It may have happened with few people. You know, somebody can be a pure devotee, but most of us want a process. Okay, so nirasiryata chittatma tyakta sarva parigriham shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. Such a man of understanding acts with mind and intelligence perfectly controlled, gives up all sense of proprietorship over his possessions, and acts only for the bare necessities of life. Thus working, he is not affected by sinful reaction. So that's like inaction. He's not affected by sinful reaction because he's given up the sense of proprietorship. Yadrachya labha santushto dvandvadhito vimatsaraha sama siddha vasiddhau cha krita papina nibhyate. He who is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled all the performing actions. It is not easy to be in that stage of life. You know, he is satisfied with gain which comes of its own accord, free from the duality, does not envy, steady in both success and failure, never entangled all the performing actions. So how do we, here the result of Jnana Yoga is this. We are able to understand and separate that what is entangling and what is not entangling. How do we develop these qualities will be explained later. This is just a result. It's like a crux. Okay, if, like, you know, a university advertises their program, come to our campus, very nice landscapes, very nice classes, schedule, exams, degree is recognized in these places. Like that, come to Jnana Yoga because Jnana Yoga is going to give you insight into these kind of domains of existence. The intelligent person will ask, how do you develop it? Jnana Yoga will give an insight, but how do you develop it? Because development means action. You're going to do. Then that's why Krishna will speak bhakti. He'll dedicate 6 chapters to bhakti yoga and 1 chapter to Jnana Yoga. Understood like how it is developing? So no Jnana Yoga, this will be your performance level of Jnana Yoga, but how do you get there will be bhakti. Gata sangasya muktasya jnanavasthita chetasaha jnana acharat karma samagram praviliyate. The work of a man who is unattached to the modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. So it's not that the person is not working, they work, but they work for Krishna. This is explained in 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita with the word Om Tat Sat. Right? What does Om Tat Sat mean? What does it say in 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita? The work of a man who is unattached to modes of material nature and who is fully situated in transcendental knowledge merges entirely into transcendence. Anvya Mataji, what does Om Tat Sat mean?
Mataji, Om means supreme. I mean, it denotes Krishna. Om Tat means the work. Tat means it is the work that is being done for him.
Very nice.
Sat means the fruits, the one who is doing the work or doing the action, he doesn't get entangled, and the fruit which he is going to receive is also going to be eternal.
Very nice. Thank you. So the work has three aspects. One is like starting a work, then performing a work, and then finishing the work. Right? So Om Tat Sat is, Om denotes starting a work. So the person who is in Krishna consciousness, unattached to modes of material nature, will start the work for the eternal, for Krishna. That begins with the word Om. Tat means performing the work. So the performance of the work is also going on for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Sat means culminating the work. So the culmination of the work also goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In that way, the work, the performer of the work, and the results of the work are all eternal. On the contrary, in material world, what are the stages of a team development, which I think can be used in any relationship or any activity in the material world? What are the stages? What is it? Forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. You know this? In 1960s, an economist brought up this model, forming. So if we start a work, we have to form a team, you know, we have to collect all the necessary gadgets or objects, forming, then storming, then we brainstorm how are we going to do it. Then forming, storming, norming, then we normalize roles and responsibilities. Performing, we perform. But what happens at the end? Adjourning. Adjourning khatam ho gaya. You did so much, but in Krishna consciousness is Om Tat Sat. The work, the performer of the work, and the result of the work remains eternal. Thank you, Anya Mataji. Brahmarpanam Brahmahaver Brahmagno Brahmanahutam Brahmevate Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. A person who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, in which the consummation is absolute and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. Same, that's it. In which the consummation is absolute and which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. So the culmination of the work and the performance of the work is for Krishna. So this person is going to Krishna. It's like you buy a ticket to go to, you know, Hong Kong. You're going to go to Hong Kong. You're not going to land up in Australia with a Hong Kong ticket. So if you work towards going to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and you culminate the work with the same intention, then we go to Krishna. And Krishna is assuring it. Fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom. Okay, so working on one's account and working on God's account, a cashier, Prabhupada gives these analogies, issues lakhs on behalf of bank. The moment he steals a penny, he's arrested. Or a soldier killing people in army is awarded so many awards, but he kills his neighbor, he's arrested. So Arjun is fighting for Dharma Yuddha on behalf of Krishna, but Duryodhana is fighting for his own selfish plan. Okay, unwinding and winding spool of a tape recorder. So I think we'll just stick with these examples. That basically in this particular verse, Krishna has explained how Gyan Yoga liberates one from the karma. Okay, which here karma is defined as activity which is based on one's prescribed duties, which can also be entangling if it is not done with intelligence. I think I've taken a long time. Sorry, last week I wasn't able to take the long class. Any questions, reflections, realizations, or